Joined by Brett Taveau, author of Unpacking Greatness, a Chiefs book you can find on Amazon. Brett, you cannot get enough defense. We're going again with defense this week for the Chiefs after their victory, 14-point victory over the Los Angeles Chargers, and three big 3-and-outs that the Chiefs forced in the fourth quarter. We're going to look at those details this week, a little bit maybe different than weeks past.
Absolutely, and you know what a just a tale. And I was listening to Seth Kaiser today in his segment on 810, and Seth does really good work, and he has his Chief in the North newsletter, and watches a ton of Chiefs film and knows the Chiefs as well as anybody. And he said this game was just a really great example of complementary football, where all three phases made big plays in crucial times to contribute to a really, really big win. Obviously, you had the special teams return. And then, offensively, the fireworks in the first half. But these three and outs when it was a one possession game were just massive.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting. We've talked so much about the Chiefs have played really good football together, and because they've been together, there's been very few openings. A little bit different on these three and outs coming up here, and we'll kind of talk through why. The first one, because of some misalignment here, the Chiefs still get bailed out by an individual player.
Yeah. So what you have here, third and three is a pretty heavy pass down in the NFL, unless you're on the plus side of the field and looking, at 4-down territory. But, they do this here to get one-on-one. So the center is pretty much wasted in protection here as you get 4 one-on-ones across the board. Usually in this 4-man front, you have somebody in the A gap, either a 2-eye or what's called a shade, head up over the nose. But here they're in 2-3 techniques, so they can get one-on-ones with the guard and the tackle, and the center's kind of wasted in the protection. He's not able to get initial double team. So it is a common alignment for a defensive line when they're expecting pass.
And the Chargers counter that with a run inside zone. One of the plays that they had a lot of success with against the Chiefs. There's only one problem with the Chargers on this play. It's not the scheme. It's actually Nick Bolton.
Yeah, and they as you said, they gashed in the first half with this. I know the big 45, 55-yard touchdown run. The Chiefs got a little bit out of fit and had a lot of success with that. But, yeah, they got everything they want here. I mean, they got a double team there to the right. They've got a easy base block out with the right tackle. And then you see Justin Reed there is going across with the split block. And, you and I were talking before we started here, and he said, well, if he's in man coverage, that takes him out of the run fit. So I don't know if that's a scheme issue or he's just, kind of going off script there. But as you have, that this is Bolton here. He triggers a lot faster than that left guard is able to get up to him. That left guard, he has to get movement on that defensive lineman. That's how the scheme is designed, and then work up to the second level of linebacker. But he sees it so quickly and shoots that gap so quickly that he's unable to get to him.
Yeah, and I just want you to envision here, I'm going to have this highlighted, what this looks like if Nick Bolton is not in this play. Imagine Nick Bolton's on this play and this run is right up the middle. This is kind of what you're looking at for the Chargers, potentially one guy to beat to go score a touchdown.
Yeah, hopefully, Cook there can make a tackle for a gain of, 10 or 12, and you limit that. But if he misses a tackle, you're looking at definitely in field goal range, maybe a house call.
So crazy stuff there. And Nick Bolton, obviously, he's injured now, going to be out potentially a couple months for the Chiefs. Probably back for the playoff push after he injured his wrist, but a huge play for him in this regard. Again, the Chiefs kind of found themselves in a tricky spot there, able to be bailed out by a player. Another one here, Mike Edwards. Can we talk through this one and kind of his responsibility on this play and why Tony Romo even talked on the broadcast how this was such a great play by him?
Of course, yeah. So the Chiefs bring in their dime package here. They got 6 DBs. And he's going to be playing the Mike position in what looks to be a Tampa 2 scheme. And his role is to basically, you see those safeties are wide. His role is going to be to play that middle of the field void. And usually when you see in Tampa, and their responsibility is to cover that deep. However, he does a really good job of reading the body language of I believe that's Keenan Allen there at number 3. I could be wrong.
It is Keenan Allen, yes.
Yeah, he does a really good job there, as you see, not opening up and covering that vertical space. He's able to see, read the intent of him and put that back foot in and drive. I mean, that's what they want right there. That's what they're see. Okay, I think Keenan Allen does a good job of reading the coverage. Okay, he's maybe it's some sort of option route, but he does a a really fine job, Edwards does of understanding that, putting his foot in the ground, driving, and getting a crucial PBU.
It's fascinating again because we talk about the Chargers coaching so much, but maybe you can talk through this, Brett. If you talk about spreading out these zone defenders here, these linebackers, there's the guy at the top of the screen that's taking one of the linebackers. The back out of the backfield is taking the other one. Mike Edwards is not supposed to be here. He's supposed to be taking off down the field, respecting one of the best receivers in the NFL. This is really good scheme, right? I mean, this is exactly what the Chargers want, and yet Mike Edwards foils the play because he just makes a great drive on the ball and doesn't sell on that deep pass.
Yeah, 1,000%. Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't be able to get upset at Mike Edwards there if he's opening up and running, because that's his job, is to protect that void. And you're like, okay, well, it's Tampa too. That's a soft area of the coverage, but for some reason, I don't know if it was from film study or reading the intent of the route. It could have been either. But I mean, just a massive play.
Big play in that game, and obviously a huge third down stop on that play where, again, the Chargers seem to have really good scheme against the Chiefs, busted up by a really good individual player. Let's go to this last one. Another really good play. You pointed this out to me, Brett, something very interesting. 7 defensive backs out on the field for the Chiefs, and that's quarter coverage, right? We got nickel, dime, and we got to go up to quarter for 7. A very rare thing in the NFL. Look, the Chiefs have done it 5 pass attempts this year, and the whole NFL as a whole has done it for 31 pass attempts. Only 9 teams have done it. So a little bit of an interesting look for the Chiefs.
So the Chiefs have 15 to 20% of the entire NFL's 7 DB personnel, huh? That's that's pretty
big on the dollars. Oh, no, wait, no, the quarters, not the dollars. The dollars would be even more than that, right?
Yeah.
Dollars would be 8. That'd be nuts.
So, as you said, 7 DBs here, and they're going to end up playing cover 2 man here. They're just trying to disguise, trying to give Herbert a different picture. And Jesse, I texted it to you last week, and I think we talked about it a little bit. Dan Orlovsky went through the Chiefs' different coverages. So they called it a Rolodex of coverages that Steve Spagnuolo, throws at different offenses, how it makes it really difficult, not only on quarterbacks, but play callers. And, this is an example of just a different personnel group, as you said, a rare personnel group, and then showing a different picture that they're going to play post-snap.
So what's fascinating here, and you pointed this out to me, and we're going to focus on this. The spotlight there is Willie Gay. And so Willie Gay is going to make this play. Before we watch Willie Gay make this play, let's watch the Chiefs that aren't going to make this play and who Willie Gay really picks up on this one. We're going to start at the bottom of the screen here with L'Jarius Sneed.
Yeah, I think he's trying to disguise and show a little cover 2 there as he's outside leverage looking at the quarterback, which is a general cover 2 technique. And then he tries to adjust late and he misses jam, which puts him in a really bad spot. So thank goodness Herbert never looked that way.
Yeah, wide open there. Again, playing man coverage with the 2 deep safeties. But if you get that break off the line, you're going to be wide open before you hit a safety. Then, of course, up here, there's Jalen Watson. Talk to me. We talked so much about last week, leverage. He's playing inside leverage to force everything outside. He has inside leverage on this receiver. I believe it's Keenan Allen again, but this is not good, as you were pointing out to me as well.
Yeah, and he of course is inside leverage because there's no linebacker help. Gay has walked up and he's going to be part of what looks to be a part of the pressure package, and that's something we'll talk about once we get to him. But he does get beat with a little bit of move outside, which gets him to open that gate, so to speak. You can see his hips kind of opening, which allows the leverage on the inside. And again, just like the last 2 snaps, the Chargers really get everything they want, but it's one player just making a very, very impressive play that bails out, maybe some technique mistakes by the other guys.
Yeah, and let's go back here. I mean, Willie Gay, we're not really sure here. Could be a spy, could be a rusher, but he remains very patient, stays there, leaps up the perfect time, and probably stops a big gain there based off of the coverage we saw on the back end.
Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely think that it's at least a completion. At least a conversion, and the sticks are moving, and possibly the Chargers get a little bit of momentum there. But without being in the meeting rooms or asking him personally, it's hard to know. I've heard of defensive coordinators or defensive schemes. Some of these guys that are part of the rush, they particularly if they're not a true pass rusher, if you can't get home, go ahead and hang back and get your hands up and try to disrupt the pass another way. I don't know if that's part of the scheme or just a decision he made, but he was definitely in the right place at the right time and made a play.
So much goes into good defense for the Chiefs. Other weeks, it's been working together and having very few openings. Here, it's guys making individual plays, maybe knowing the scouting report well, but also bailing out their teammates when they don't come through on particular plays. So a really impressive outing in the second half by the Chiefs, forcing these 3-and-outs. Really impressive outing by the Chiefs defense again, which once again is showing to be just as good as the offense, at least at this early point in the season. That's going to wrap it for the details. For Brett, this is Jesse. Be sure to tune in for another episode next week.